Lofa, who's joining us today? Who is this guy in the middle, this incredibly good-looking Seahawk fan? Who is this guy?
This is my good friend, Dean Nielsen Jr. You know, a lot of stories about Dean. I guess we'll start off. He was once my life coach. And, you know, my life started to get worse. So I fired him.
How do you become an ex-life coach? That's crazy.
And I hired him. There's a great spin to this.
Okay.
You know me, zoning in on the positive perspective. Hired him as my drinking buddy and lifting partner. Life's never been better.
So
I do. Hey, it's what I do.
Fired as life coach, hired as drinking buddy.
And golf.
He couldn't afford me. He couldn't afford me. That's the real story. So yeah. Anyways, Lofa, thanks. That's the real story, though. But that's a pretty good intro right there.
Yeah, I mean, just overall stud. Loves the Hawks just like we all do. You know, he's our insider. He went to opening day of training camp, and he also went to the scrimmage. So he's got some incredible insight for us coming up.
Yeah, not only a friend of the show, friend of Lofa, but also fan insider for the Seahawks on Bleav Network. Okay, good. Yeah. What else, Lofa? Keep going.
He can bench a shit ton of weight.
Okay.
So that's cool.
Sweet. What's your bench, Dean? Officially,
I think we're like 355, 365, right around there.
55, 365. That's 10-pound difference there. Come on, let's get specific.
Hey, it all depends. Let's go with 355 right now. But I also have T-Rex arms, so it's not like the bar has to travel very far. So
all right, we'll write that down. And born and raised where, Dean?
I was born in Spokane. Played baseball at Central Washington. Moseyed on over here.
Wildcats. All right.
Yeah, Division 2. We chose Division 2. So,
nice. No, my brother's a Wildcat, man. He was over there in Ellensburg for 4 years. He graduated.
It's a fun little town, man. It's not too big like the Wazoos and the UWs of the world, but it was perfect. I met my wife there, and you know, it's just a great little town. We go back. We try to go back every year to the rodeo, which is coming up, and it's always a blast.
Oh yeah, big time rodeo. It's a lot of fun. Also, on the campus, there is also a plaque that marks the geographical center of the state of Washington. I don't know if you
did not know that,
but there's a fact about your own college from me.
That is a very fun fact. I did not know that.
Learn something new every day.
Dean's going to be hanging out with us for the episode today, cracking wise, and also hopefully throughout the season. Lofa, are you ready to start the show here?
Absolutely. I thought we already
officially did. All right. Let's hit the theme song.
Let's get this crowd going now. Come on, get him up, get him up, get him up. On 3. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Lofa Tatupu is up in the mix.
Go Hawks.
I'm just about that action, boss.
Takes the snap. He's going to throw down the middle. What a catch.
It's intercepted by Lofa Tatupu.
Holy catfish.
Hey, that's great football now.
It's going to work now. Let's keep playing.
Who's got my back?
I got your back.
That's Lofa. The player.
Triple plant. Thunder. On one. Ready. Play.
Russell looking. Russell scrambling. Pump faking. Still looking. Now he spins out.
We got a fly, baby.
40 down the far sideline. He's still moving. He's going to go.
20, 10. They do it again. Touchdown. Touchdown. Seahawks.
It's the Seahawks podcast on the Bleav Sports Network, also on Brinks TV. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Seahawks superfan Brett Davern, joined as always by my partner, Seahawks legend Lofa Tatupu. What's up, buddy?
How's it going, boss?
He's got the sweet smiley face emojis in his window today, trying to look like a 15-year-old Gen Zoomer over there. Look at this guy. My God. And then also joined on this episode by special guest Dean. Never a last name for Dean, just Dean.
Just one.
Yeah. Actually,
there's only one Dean.
Hashtag just Dean, man. Just Dean. That's him. Rocking the backwards hat. He got the memo. He's a big Hawk fan, and he'll be cracking wise and hanging out. Cracking wise and hanging out on this episode. Thank you all for joining us. If you have emails to send, you can do that at seahawkspod@gmail.com. Let us know. Also, social media for the show. Bleav in Seahawks, BLEAV in Seahawks on any social media. Comment, subscribe. Go ahead and press the subscribe button, or I think they're calling it follow now on all the podcast apps. So follow our show on podcast apps. Help us rise up those lists out there and keep building this dysfunctional family over here at the Seahawks podcast on the Bleav Network. Guys, on this episode, it's all about the offense. We talked about the defense last time, so we're going to be focusing in on the offense. He didn't interrupt me. We're going to be looking in at the offense. We're going to be focusing in on the offense. He's not going to say it. There it is. Come on, man.
I mean, you do it so many times. I can't be just interrupting you every time we do it.
Oh, man. He used to make me put like $1 in the zone in jar and everything.
Still haven't seen that fine jar. Still haven't seen it. It has gotten so past the point that I was like, you know what? I'm just going to stop correcting him.
All right. Also, the Seahawks had a mock game. And so there's sorry. I got something in my throat today. There is plenty of stuff to talk about on this episode. Before we get to all of it, let's do a live read for our sponsor, BetOnline.ag, your online wagering experts. If you guys are looking to lay down wagers on anything in the world of sports and also things for outside of the world of sports, you can do that at BetOnline.ag. Use our promo code LOFA.
Bleav.
To get a
BLEAV.
To get a 50% welcome bonus when you go to betonline.ag. Man, you can put down some Super Bowl picks. There's, Major League Baseball going on. There's just like all kinds of things to wager on. They also have an online 24/7 casino that never closes, full of table games and stuff. So check them out, betonline.ag. All right, Dean, get ready. It's mock game talk time. Okay? The Seahawks, they had a game, sort of, against each other in the Action Green at Lumen Field. They played a mock game. It's the closest thing we've had to football, real football, in a while. How was it, Dean? Describe the atmosphere. Let's talk about the players.
Just first off, just being around live football again, was unreal. We didn't realize what we have. I haven't missed a game in 18 years. And just finally being able to get back in that stadium, it was it's pretty surreal. Obviously, it wasn't as packed as a normal game, but they did it right, So there's so much to look at, right? There's so many new guys. And right off the bat, if we're just focusing on the offense, Chris Carson he's got a little pep in his step. Okay. You guys, his workout videos are stupid. They're unreal.
Insane. Yeah.
But seeing the dude live, I don't know if it's because I haven't seen him live in a year or what, but he looks like he's got an extra pep in his step, dude.
Best shape he's been in. I saw those videos.
Good. Coming into a new contract, right? So, you never know what happens when guys sign their new deals and stuff like that. Lofa, did you see any video, or Chris Carson? How do you feel about him?
Yeah, they was posting probably every other week, and Sports Center's reposting them. And at one plate, he had 6 plates on each side, doing a half squat pause, bringing it back up, back down, pause. It's insane. Yeah. So if we can keep that guy healthy, you know how I feel about him. Every year towards the postseason, that's the piece we've been missing. And we were lucky to have him last year, but things didn't work out. We didn't get to hand it off to him 30 or so times in the end.
Okay, but as a former player, mock game, meh or yeah from you?
I'm going to go meh.
That's what I thought. It's a mock game, right? How much can be learned? What's it like even as a player? Walk us through this thing.
You don't want to make a mock. Yeah, there you go. See, it's still not even real football, but the pads are on, and you never want to make a mockery of the mock game. So, you go out there and play, however many snaps you have. I'm sure Bobby got a series, if that. Was he out there?
Yeah, he got, I think, 2. I honestly, Jordan Brooks looks like his clone. So there was a couple of series where I couldn't tell if it was Jordan or if it was Bobby. So
wow.
I think he got 1 or 2 series, though.
Really?
Exciting. That's exciting.
Statement right there.
Yeah, it's 2 Bobbies.
Yeah, it's literally because they both had their jerseys kind of tucked up, so you couldn't see their numbers. And
okay.
Sometimes, and I couldn't tell if it was Bobby or Jordan. They literally
I mean, they can both fly too. So
were they showing off the abs too, like an early '90s college football game? What was
they weren't? I think DK was, and those things. I told my wife to look away. She was sitting next to me, and I was just like making sure she wasn't, looking over there.
Those things got to be.
That's just unfair.
Yeah. No, that's not fair. Not fair when that guy's out there on the field.
He's got ab augmentations.
Speaking of series and all kinds of stuff like that, they were keeping track during the mock game. Russell Wilson, just back to the offensive side of the football, 13 of 20 for 196 yards on 5 drives. That was 1 touchdown and 3 field goals on those drives. So that sounds pretty good from QB1, right? But again, it's a mock game. Like, Dean, how physical was it out there between the DBs and the wide receivers? Were they wide open for Russ, or, is there anything to be gleaned from this 13 of 20 for 196?
One thing I loved, Shane coming in is I really didn't recognize one play that they threw out there on the offense. Russ overthrew about 3 balls. The corners were playing well. I know DJ Reed didn't suit up, but I mean, Trey Flowers is looking pretty darn good, but they were pretty competitive. They were pretty physical on the outside there. But other than that, there were so many times where I was like, did Carlos Dunlap get a sack there? Did he not get a sack there? I don't know. But I mean, Russ
got a sack.
Yeah, for sure. And that, by the way, that's the biggest dude I've ever seen live in my life.
Absolute monster.
Dude's a monster.
And he can move. Like, he's a great athlete to be 6'6", 280.
Yeah. Oh, well, hey, speaking of big men that can move, what about Puna's scoop and score touchdown? That had to be fun.
Puna's the guy.
I was a little concerned about the diving at the ankles of, our running back.
Yeah.
That scares me as a coach. I love the competitiveness as a player. As a coach, that scared me a little bit because, you don't want, just a loose ball. But then to watch Puna scoop and score right after, it made it all worth it.
Well, it's kind of one of those things in a mock game. You're so nervous for someone to get hurt, so you're like, you want to see some live action, but at the same time, you're like, okay, relax, easy it up, you chill out.
You take a little deep breath with that, every play, especially as a coach. When I was sitting there in the booth, watching Bobby and KJ, I'm just like, oh, he's getting up slow.
Okay? Don't like that.
No.
It's not quite a mock game, but coming up this weekend on the 14th, we play the Raiders. It's the first real, preseason game, and that's coming up on the 14th. We move from a mock game to a preseason game. So, all the same concerns, but then we're playing the Raiders. And Lofa, the guys have to be excited to be looking towards this weekend when they can hit someone in a different color jersey, right?
Absolutely. And I mean, we're not going to get into game planning yet. That's not where – actually, was it 3 preseason games now? Maybe they will start the game planning a week early because now that second one becomes like the third one, the dress rehearsal. So, we'll see a little bit of game planning, I guess, get familiar with the Raiders and what they like to run. But for the most part, you just want to see guys out there flying to the ball on defense and then just making the right read on offense. That's the biggest thing. We're going to get to look at, the guys that hopefully we don't need, but injuries do happen. So we're going to see who's going to step up and shine when the lights come on.
Well, and also let me point out, game is in Vegas. They got that brand new stadium over there. And, it's a preseason game and all that. You can't really say like rivalry renewed, but Seahawks Raiders, that's pretty cool. And that it's in Vegas, that big, Darth Vader looking thing they've built out there in the desert. Like, I'm kind of pumped just to see that kind of stuff,
Absolutely.
I heard, they have like a nightclub in one of the end zones. Did I hear, is that fake news or is that real?
No, that's real.
I mean, they should.
Yeah.
That's
real. Yeah, why not? Okay, so moving on, though, because this episode is about the offense, and you got to start with the guy who's now in charge of the offense right away. Brand new offensive coordinator Shane Waldron. And everything that we're hearing out of camp, every quote, every article, everything is about the tempo. Tempo. That's all you're going to hear as a Seahawk fan, especially in the first part of the season when it comes to the offense. I mean, Dean, you were there. You kind of touched on it there for a second, but tell us about it, man. Like, how up-tempo is it? Is this like Chip Kelly 2.0? What's going on?
Yeah, so from what I noticed, they kind of pick and choose when they're going to use the fast tempo. Every single time they use it, though, you can tell Bobby was still talking to the guys getting their defense. They're always on their heels. And it definitely had some LA Rams-esque type tempo there, which just reminds me of pretty much every time, the past 2 years, fourth quarter, 2-minute drill. We got the Russell Wilson special. You got that, when there were still 6 minutes left in the quarter. So I loved it. You can definitely tell the defense is on their heels. They're not ready for it. Also, I know these guys are still trying to get into shape too. Yeah. So I saw a lot of hands on hips, but it's definitely refreshing to see, the change of pace in the game for sure.
So was it change of pace? Like, they get a first down. There used to be like a package that some offenses would call like NASCAR or race car. So if there was not even just a controversial play, like, they might have got the first down, could be a red flag review, they would just go race car, hurry up and run a zone read. Or were they running like actual pass plays on the hurry up? Was it like a full blown hurry up sequence, or did they just change it, like huddle up one play or another, and then 2 plays in a row right at the line of scrimmage? Could you tell from that tempo?
They had a little mix of everything. They had that one bomb down to DK, and obviously they huddled up after that. But they had a couple, 5-yard hitch routes or a slant. They'd throw a quick slant to Tyler, whoever it was, and then they would just they wouldn't come completely in the huddle. They would just kind of, Russ would scream the play, and then they would go. And then they would run. They'd give like Chris a sweep or something like that, and then they would just go full up tempo. Let's roll. So it was a little mix of everything, which was really cool to see, and I think it's going to surprise some people.
No, that's an absolute nightmare when a quarterback, and Rodgers, Manning, all those guys, they had that autonomy or freedom to hey, okay, I see something, get up there, we're going to go back-to-back plays, quick, hurry up tempo. So, just another progression in Russ's game.
Well,
his MVP campaign.
Well, and we know he wants to have, even more of a fingerprint on the offense and on the team and sort of like, him calling plays, let Russ cook, all that kind of stuff. So do we think it's also a thing where, Lofa, don't they sometimes call like, 2 plays or something like that in a row, or like they all know? And so then when he goes running the line, he just kind of selects which one he kind of thinks. Would Russell have an option there when they're going that fast?
Yeah.
To call his own stuff?
Yeah, I think depending on how comfortable he is and how, what Shane thinks, like how far along he is into knowing the whole system, the package that he's putting in place in terms of the tempo. If Russ is showing to handle it well and master it, then yeah, he'll absolutely hand the reins over to him and say, hey, this series we get a first down, or if we get a second and short, just get to the line and do your thing, like whatever you want to run. So.
Are you guys at all, though, as Hawks fans, nervous about this a little bit? Because I got to tell you, I am. We've seen this up-tempo thing in the NFL before. It never works. I mean, Chip Kelly was in the NFL. That didn't really work. We played we've seen these teams like that basically run down the field, and it works kind of early in the season a lot of the time, like when Chip first came in and stuff like that. Don't you be pointing at your mech up. This is a thing. It works. It works early in the season, okay? It never works. Come on,
predictable.
A little bit.
We can't get any worse than last year. When you have your own receivers saying how predictable we were, something's wrong.
I understand.
So
but I'm talking about the tempo specifically, not the offense. I'm just talking about this up-tempo, college style, let's hurry up. The defense will be on its heels. We've seen it work in the NFL through the first 4 or 5 weeks, but we haven't seen a team have like real great long success with this kind of style of play. So I'm just a little nervous as a Hawk fan. That's all. Not about the scheme again, just about the tempo.
And I'm going to say that when you give the power to Russell Wilson, there's nobody that believes more than he does. So let's put the ball in his hands. And if he believes in the play he's calling, everybody else has to believe. So there's the positive spin on that one, Brett Davern.
All right. Fair enough. That's fine. Dean, you're not nervous at all?
I just think new OC coming in, it's just going to take some time for them to get used to it. It's going to be a little sloppy, maybe a little slow start, especially when we're having 3 preseason games. I'm really not. They're going to pick and choose when they're going to use the tempo. They're not going to do it 100% of the time. Like I said, I just don't think it can get much worse than than the second half of last year when literally every defense knew what was coming. So I think we're going to be just fine.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Fair enough. We'll watch that as it goes along here. Let's then do our deep dive here into the offense, everything offense on this episode. And just like last episode, let's go through this thing alphabetically. Lofa, on the offense, the first position group alphabetically would be what?
Fullback?
No, the centers. Come on now.
Okay, where you're going. Okay.
The centers, Ethan Posick, 6'6", 320, the LSU Tiger. He's in his 5th season already. Looking to anchor the line. I think he's probably center number 1, even though he's got a little bit of a hamstring issue going on right now. Backing him up is Brad LUMEN. I don't know. Never heard of him. And then Kyle Fuller, who's filled in the past. We're pretty much set at center, don't we think, guys?
I think so.
I think that's a lock.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's just like DJ Reed. Put him in there.
Just a lock.
Yeah.
Lock it up with Posick. I mean, 5th year, like he's played pretty solid. Look, the offensive line has got to be pretty much the focus, especially through the preseason and for Hawks fans right now with, the offseason stuff with Russell's comments on the Dan Patrick show, all that stuff. So offensive line is something that everyone's looking at. And I mean, he's right there in the middle, right? And we like the way he plays so far, right? Don't we think?
Yeah, he's really played surprisingly. I don't want to say surprisingly well. I mean, he's got his opportunity, and he's here because he's a professional. But that was a position that was, a lot of focus, maybe a little zoned in on it because we had a stud like Britt there for so many years, and it's you tend to take a guy like Britt for granted, because you only hear about O-linemen when they don't do their job, right? And so. That was the case. Brett, we never had to worry about him. So when you had a younger guy coming in, you would just worry about some communication because that is the quarterback of the O-line. He's calling the plays and telling you who the mic is and where they're going with certain run plays. So, but I thought he did a great job last year. And
they've had a chance to get Britt back or bring him back like twice now, kind of, and they haven't. So they must be believing in Posick, and they're ready to roll with him. Yeah,
he's younger. Cost a little less. I don't think that there's really comparison between the two. I mean, Brett's a stud. He's just coming off injury. You'll see him do his thing with Houston, I'm sure.
Well, next up in alphabetical order is the fullbacks, and there's only one of them, Nick Bleav. That's our fullback. So if we're rolling with a fullback, he's the one. Dean, did you notice if Bleav was doing anything out there in the mock game? Or, do they use fullbacks anymore?
I didn't see much of him. I mean, he's just a special team stud, right? Yeah. Like every time during the game, I'll be texting Lofa saying, "Look out for Bleav. Guarantee he's going to make this tackle."
So Bleav or Barton, I get the text from Dean.
100%. Those are my boys right there. Those guys are the Bulldogs.
Oh, there
he's just a stud, Pro Bowler. Like he's just going to do his thing. But no, Lofa. Going back on the offensive line real quick though, is they're like washing machines. You only talk about them when they're broke. Or when they're not working. So I think Britt,
Dean was rehearsing that line in the mirror. That's why we had to get that one in there.
Well, I have a mirror all set up right here, so I definitely was getting ready for it.
He's visualizing it. He did the mock podcast. I love it.
Yeah. No, but he filling in shoes for Britt is going to be tough. But I think if we start using I don't know if we're going to use Bleav as much as we normally have, but he's just a dude on special teams.
Why don't they use fullbacks anymore, Lofa? What's up?
I don't know. And first of all, what really, you want to know really grinds my gears?
Yeah.
In 2010, I was watching film of this kid from Central Michigan, and he was just running all over the field, kicking ass. I'm talking just taking heads off. I was like, this guy is amazing. It was Nick Bleav. Playing middle linebacker. So this is a guy. And so I told the Hawks, I go, go get this kid. I promise you'll love him. And he went undrafted. I said he was worthy of like a 5th, 6th round pick, late. Just you take a flyer on a guy like that. He was 6'2", 240. He didn't run great at the combine, but whatever. He was still making every play.
Yeah, we all don't run good at the combine, right?
No, right? Yeah.
We're all not.
It's a signature of a true ball player.
Yeah, it's in-game speed is what matters, right, Lofa?
I'm slow as shit, but I beat all the 4-4s to the football. And that's how you find the football players.
Okay.
But so this guy goes undrafted to the top 5 defense, or the top 2 defenses in, the 3 or 4 year span, the Jets and Rex Ryan. And he makes it as David Harris's backup. And, here we are, 11 years later. And I finally got my guy. He's here with the Hawks, and he made a Pro Bowl. So shout out to Nick Bellore. Stud.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Nick Bellore, bringing the lunch pail. He's one of those guys,
That's why he makes all those big hits on special teams. I mean, he's a linebacker at heart, but
absolutely, absolutely.
But a true team player. He does whatever it takes to win.
Yeah. Well, okay. Hey, how about some guards? Let's move on here. So position group G, the guards: Damian Lewis, Gabe Jackson, Jordan Simmons, Phil Haynes. But Gabe Jackson and Damian Lewis, they're really the story here. I mean, potentially one of the best guard duos in the entire league, I'd say. Damian Lewis is an absolute stud, has been since he's a rookie. Gabe Jackson's a veteran who's coming in, brand new to the team this year. But if those two can really find out, a way to really work in tandem and become, dude, I'm pumped for the guards that we got on this team. What do you guys think?
What do you see out there?
Gabe is just a bust, dude. He is going to pancake a lot of dudes this year. It's going to be unreal. I
thought you said bust. I was like, no.
Oh, no. He's a bust. He's a massive dude.
Oh, wow. Yeah, there he is. Wow. Look at him. Yeah, he's a big dude. Lofa, what do you think about the guards here? I'm pretty pumped about these 2 inside linemen here.
Yeah, it's impressive. And, I've heard nothing but great things about Gabe. And then how I feel about Damian. And it's so hard to come in. I don't care if you know everything to do. If you know all the right reads and you got great instincts and you know the offense really well, to play in the fucking trenches is a nightmare as a rookie. It's some grown ass men in there. And he handled it no problem. And not only did they do that, jumped over, filled in admirably at center when Pochik went down.
Yeah.
Like I said, keep coming back to it. To not have one bad snap or, offsides, it was incredible. The guy jumped over from guard to do that at center, and incredible.
Yeah, yeah. And also, just a fun little tidbit. He's a Tiger, LSU Tiger. Yeah. Ethan Posic's an LSU Tiger. I think they crossed over a little bit right there, maybe at the end when Posic was leaving and maybe Lewis was coming in. So that's kind of cool too, and maybe helps out just because they've been playing together for longer than just the NFL. So interesting little tidbit there. But speaking of guards, a former Seahawk guard had a big weekend this last weekend, and this is the Seahawks podcast, so we got to talk about a Hall of Famer here. Steve Hutchison went into the Hall of Fame. One of the best guards to ever do it, right? Lofa, your former teammate. How will Hutch be remembered as a Seahawk? And then also, if you just want to, talk about Hutch for a second, because
absolute savage. Yeah. On the field, savage. Off the field, one of the greatest guys you ever met. He was here in Seattle, and we continually led the league in rushing. Mm-hmm. He goes over to Minnesota, and they start leading the league in rushing. And it's not a coincidence. That's what happens when you get a Hall of Fame caliber player like Hutchie, and just an absolute beast. And, my rookie year, man, coming in, facing that guy every day, it made me better, obviously, but I'd be lying if I say, it wasn't hell going against him and Walt.
Yeah. Yeah, no, totally. He's just the man. There he is at Michigan back in the day. And Dean, as a fan, how will Hutch be remembered as a Seahawk? Because I think, a lot of the thing that we remember is obviously what happened at the end with one of the most bonehead contractual front office decisions. Who even knows what the hell happened there type things. So, let's as fans, do we remember that? We obviously remember the play on the field. What do we think about our guy Hutch here?
I just think he kind of put the Seattle O-line on the map. And Big B Walt, having Sean Alexander, they just put the O-line on the map. That's what I grew up with, seeing him, and also too, Loaf, you posted a photo standing next to Hutch yesterday. You look like a second grader standing next to that dude. What is going on?
Felt like a second grader running into that dude.
That is a beast right there. That's unbelievable.
He's just a bad angle.
Yeah, it's for sure bad angle. But no, he's just, when you think of O-line, you just think of B-Walt and you think of Hutch, and just how lucky Sean Alexander was to have that and Max Strong in front of him. Like, can you imagine that? That's pretty ridiculous.
What do we do with Hutch legacy-wise as the Seahawks? I mean, other Seahawk Hall of Famers have their jerseys retired by the team, Ring of Honor. And it ended awkwardly, but some of that stuff should be in order here for Hutch, ?
Yeah, but it never ended. Yeah, absolutely. Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
I Bleav he belongs to this Ring of Honor, Minnesota's Ring of Honor, for the work he's done, not just on the field, but also in the community. Phenomenal dude. And, I think, we do have one going in this year. It could be him. That'd be something.
Oh, right. At least they're going to add a new person, but we don't know who it is yet.
We haven't, they haven't said who it is yet. But yeah, man, just I can't say enough good things about Hutch.
Should they retire his jersey or put him in? Obviously, we all agree Ring of Honor for sure, at the very least, right? But
absolutely, without a doubt. I think they're going to run out of room there on the Ring of Honor here pretty darn soon with the LOBs and all that
coming up too.
Yeah, exactly. How long do you have to wait till you can qualify for Ring of Honor?
I don't know if there's really a certain time frame or what, but I mean there are going to be a lot of names going in there with the Super Bowl teams that won it and then went back. But the thing with Hutch, I understand, it wasn't bad terms that he left on.
No,
there was nothing. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
there was hard feelings because it hurt. Yeah,
right.
It hurt everybody. Especially us to lose a teammate like that. But I Bleav it was his agent who helped write the CBA that year and inserted. There was the poison pill, the transition tag.
Yeah.
So now not just franchise, but transition. And with the transition, you could put in certain clauses that would kick in if he went to another city. Or I forget exactly what happened, but essentially what they said was look, if you transition tag him, he is gone. And he got transition tagged instead of franchise. That's really what should have happened. And then as they work towards a new long-term deal.
Which was also not even Mike Holmgren's idea either. He didn't want that. I think, famously, he didn't even know that was sort of happening. So the whole thing was a big CF. Let's put it that way. It is what it is.
If we have Hutch looking, I don't want to trip down memory lane we would have won 5 Super Bowls. I'm not saying, but that we at least go back to 1, maybe not 2. The next year, when we really had a hard time getting that third and short, I think we were 1 for 8 and 3rd and 3 or less against the Bears that went to overtime. Mm-hmm. We win that game, and then so we at least advanced there to an NFC Championship game, and then in 2007, I think that was our best year and the best roster we had put together, and to make that push, we would have came out of Green Bay with a win.
Yeah.
So, He's that much. He's a Hall of Famer. He's that much of a difference maker.
Yeah, it's a bummer. I mean, off the top of my head, in contractual front office type stuff, I'd say that's the number one thing that everyone would do over again if they could. But anyway, we digress, and we need to move on. Next up, alphabetically, position group. Oh no, go ahead, Lofa. Sorry.
Quick shout out to my boy Edge James, who also made the Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah.
Forget. Edge was here. He donned the neon green jersey.
Yeah.
And just a quick story about Edge, one of the greatest locker room guys you ever met. I mean, everybody loved him. You wanted to be around him. He had that great energy. But he came here in 2009, and I don't know why they never gave him reps. I know his knee was not 100%, but he was just coming off, I think, the Super Bowl a year ago with the Cardinals. So he was he's still Edge James. He's still a Hall of Famer. He finally gets some playing time against the Jaguars, and in the 4th quarter, we get the ball back with 12 minutes. I'm thinking we got to go back out there 3 times, right? Edge James with 12 carries rattled off 50 yards and killed the whole 12 minutes of clock. I mean, just ran out there, gave him the biggest hug and high five, and man, thank you for not making us go back out there and preserving the shutout.
Yeah.
Cool. Very cool story. Yeah. Good.
Edge James, man.
Shout out to him. Hall of Famer also. Back to the Seahawks, though, and next up, alphabetically position group wise, quarterbacks. Russell Wilson. That's it. is it worth talking about it further than that?
Did we skip halfbacks?
I mean, with running
backs,
RBs. So
Hey,
but
you gave me a little bit of shit there, man. I just want to know.
There's Russ. There's our guy. Number 3 in your programs, but the QB1 on the depth chart, and that's how it goes. So is he going to be cooking this year? Is he? I mean, Dean, you saw him out there. You said he got a couple high throws, but come on, whatever. It's practice. How do we feel about Russell going into this season, guys?
He is going to be in the kitchen cooking. There's going to be so much yards after catch. It's going to be ridiculous.
Oh, okay.
If you're a fantasy guy, pick up DK, because I think that dude got like 6 or 7 targets. It's going to be the DK Russell show all day long.
Okay.
Quick slants, quick little passes. It's going to be all about yards after catch.
Wow.
He's getting the ball out early, which means he's not going to be getting hit, which means his offensive line isn't going to be looking on ESPN saying he's talking crap about him. So I'm stoked for him. He's going to get the ball out early, and from what it looks like, he has more say in the offense. That up tempo.
Is he throwing with anticipation? Because this is something I hear analysts say a lot. It's not just the quick throws, which I think all Hawk fans want to see him get the ball out of his hand a little bit earlier. It would help the pass rush, like you said, all that. But throwing also with anticipation. He's one of these guys who's vertically challenged a little bit. Lofa,
yep.
Like Drew Brees and myself and whatever. So sometimes it's like you got to be able to throw it before you can see it. Do you see him kind of throwing it earlier, if that makes sense? Dean, did you notice that? Like throwing it before guys comes out of breaks and things like that?
Yeah, definitely. I saw that, especially on the outside routes. He's getting the ball out early, before they're getting there. But the first pass he had was just an absolute dime to DK. I think it was like a 40-yard just go route, perfectly placed. But yeah, he's getting the ball out early, and it's just one thing. He's rolling out. I like him when he's rolling out play action. Because there's not a lot of people near him, and he's so good on that. When he's running that those across the body passes with those slant patterns, those crossing routes from the other side. But yeah, and you can definitely tell he's still getting kind of familiar. I didn't recognize. I think I recognized one route any of these guys were doing. So it's still new, but he's just we're so lucky to have that dude under center. It's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's going to be in good hands.
Keeping Russ on the move important this year, and also how do we just feel in general?
Yeah, no, I really, Dean said it all. I have no worries at all with QB1, and I think it's going to lead us right into the next position, which I do have some worries about.
Well, hold on. Before we get there, I want to ask you guys, because look, I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer or anything like that, but it's my job to point these things out. Like Russ was cooking last year, MVP through the first 6 weeks. It wasn't able to be sustained for probably a million reasons, but how do we keep him cooking all year long? Is it the new offense? Is it just that easy? Like now it's more complex and it'll keep people guessing? Dean, you're nodding already.
Yeah, I think that's going to play a big role in it. I don't think his drop off last year was all on him. I think all these defenses started to figure them out. They knew it was coming. They weren't going to give up the deep ball, and that kind of took away a lot of traits Russell Wilson is great at. If the defense knows what's coming, it's pretty hard to be successful, especially in the NFL. Yeah. So, I think, if with this new OC, it's going to be new to a lot of these other defenses. So I think that in itself is going to put Russ in a better spot. I also think Russ might have a little bit more picks this year just because he's going to be throwing the ball a little bit more. But I don't think there's going to be a drop-off quite like what we saw last year.
Lofa, how do we keep him cooking?
Yeah, well, hopefully everybody stays healthy. That was, the mixing in and out of the running backs. Like I said, when we face some of the best defenses down the stretch, that's just Washington, LA, the Giants, who are really strong on defense. We didn't even have Carson or Hyde. We were down to the Rook and then
Homer.
And then we brought in Alex, Collins, and they performed admirably. It was, a tough situation to be in. But like I said, just as well as the defenses kind of maybe knowing we were a little predictable, when you don't have a true running threat, someone that you know is going to get 20 to 25 touches, whether it's carries or you don't have to honor the play action. And so they were all like, wait, let's just play deep to short. We got this, rally up, make the tackle. Just make it, a 10 to 15 play drive for them to have to score. And because it was becoming as bad as, as good as we were on offense, we were that bad on defense, for the first half of the season before the trade with Dunlap. And so, there was the added pressure of if I don't put up 35 to 40, we might not win. That was a real thing. And whether that we talked about it or not, that's how bad we were doing on defense because of all the injuries over there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, to the play action counterparts then here, because next up is running backs. And Chris Carson, I mean, he's back, baby. And he's been doing the crazy workouts in the offseason. He's got 700 pounds on the bar. And then he's like standing on a yoga ball and while, hanging by his toes from curl bars. I don't know. He's got the craziest workouts I've ever seen. And he's jacked and he's ready and I'm ready and I'm excited. And I know you guys are too, right?
The dude's going to run some people over. He's going to send some people home.
Foot sticks, baby.
Yeah. Tackling a dude like that would be so difficult. I can't imagine. But I don't know, Lofa, did you take his trainer's program or what? Because I see you there.
Look at his lifting there. It's in the middle there. If you guys got to go to Instagram.
I could do leg day with him. Nothing else.
Look at that. I mean, crazy.
The
right?
dude's a freak. That's like that. How many plates are on that right there? That's
the one I think I saw. It's like 6 on each side.
Lofa, it's insane, right?
Yeah, that was the one I think where one of the plates, the clip fell off, and it scared the shit out of me because he was going back up and he bounced it just enough to get it back and racked, but 245s on one side. Jesus.
Look at him right there.
245s on one side fell off, and the other one stayed on, and he just pulled the bar down because it was getting ready to tiptoe or seesaw. I mean, just grabbed it and racked it, and I was like,
you guys, Seahawk fans, not to get weird, but go to our Instagram, turn the lights down a little bit, and check out the picture of Chris Carson.
Dude,
we got up here now. I mean, the guy, he looks like the Hulk.
That's just good lighting.
He's a bodybuilder. As a football player, running backs aren't supposed to look like that. No one's supposed to look like that. That's ridiculous.
Wow.
Yeah.
My goodness. Let's talk about some of his other compatriots or compadres fighting for spots back there in the backfield. Rashad Penny, it feels like a make it or break it year to me for him, right, guys? I mean, high draft pick, but just not a lot of production so far in his career. A couple of good games, some bright spots, but he's really got to bring it this year, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's got to stay healthy. I mean, he could be he could be a game changer. Having a two-headed monster in the backfield, especially for a West Coast offense, that would be a game changer. Yeah. But he just needs to stay healthy. He's got the speed. He's got everything. It sounds like he's healthy and sounds like he's feeling good.
After the mock game, he's got an issue.
Of course.
He already has an issue. Rashad Penny already has an injury. He finds himself in the injury report already again this year. Pete's got to be a little frustrated, Lofa, right? I mean, come on. This guy was such a high draft pick. We had such high hopes for him coming out of San Diego State, but we just haven't been able to see much from him in his career so far.
Yeah. I mean, we got that glimpse, was it the second year when he put up the 140 yards against Philly, looked amazing. The next week, he tore his ACL. So, you feel for the kid though, with those expectations placed on you, and just hope that he can just make it healthy, make it through a season healthy so he can show what he can do. Because I mean, that guy, he was phenomenal in college. I know it was just college, but that's why you take him that high. Because I mean, in the film I saw in college when he was healthy, and I know San Diego State, so Mountain West, but he was pulling away from guys by 10 and 15 yards, in a 50, 60-yard run. And, I mean, those guys aren't that bad of athletes in the secondary too. They got speed too.
Yeah.
But his game speed was just too real. So I hope he gets back on track because that would be quite the combination with Carson.
Yeah, and then Alex Collins, speaking of getting guys back, he's out there competing, man, and we like him a lot. I mean, that one run last year looked like shades of Marshawn Lynch again, with him in the backfield there. So Alex Collins, I'm excited about him. DJ Dallas out there still, doing his thing. We got a lot of running backs. It's just going to be interesting to see who makes it onto the opening day roster.
Yeah, and Dean sent me a clip right before the show.
He's putting dudes on skates. I'm all in. Alex Collins, baby. 2021.
I'll send it to you. It was insane.
Okay. I mean,
it's what he did. It's what he did in college. His college tape was one of the most fun to watch, and I thought he was going to go a lot higher than the 5th round. But that just shows you, John knowing, the value and where you can get a guy. Because again, it didn't work out the first time. He left, went to Baltimore. In 10 games, he almost put up 1,000 yards. And then, he's back here now. And, love having him because he's a guy that can go between the tackles, around the corner, outside zone. And he's got good hands, and the route running capabilities are unbelievable.
Well, how many backs do you think they're going to keep coming out of camp? Because right now, let me see. They got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the roster right now. You got Josh Johnson, Cameron Scarlett. Who else? I mean, Chris Carson, Alex Collins, DJ Dallas, like we talked about. I mean, how many are they going to keep?
You'd probably keep at least 5. Does that
especially with Rashad banged, or especially with Penny banged up already, right? At least 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Because everyone you mentioned after Penny they're going to contribute on teams too. So
Gotcha.
Homer, Dallas,
Well, moving down the list here, or down the roster, we come to tackles, and I'm getting nervous. I know Lofa is too. We're sending articles back and forth to each other over the weekend. Dwayne Brown is still holding in. This is a new thing now, guys. "Quote unquote," he's holding in at camp, and Pete Carroll says that Dwayne is, quote, sending a message. But Pete also says, that they got to get it worked out. And my question for you two is, they got to get it worked out, right?
Yeah. I mean, there was I didn't send it to you because I didn't want to, hit the panic button like you always do, Brett Davern. But there was an article where they talked about, they're like, oh, well, what's the status with Dwayne? And this was about a week ago, where wasn't practicing, whatever, not a big deal, right?
Holding in.
Holding in. And Pete, they're like, is there anything going on with the contract? And he didn't even address. He goes, we're not talking about that. Like, just played it to the left, kind of like. But now it's something that has to be talked about, because I mean, I don't even, who is starting if he's not starting?
Well, okay,
Rook, right?
We got the rookie Stone Forsythe, which might be one of the best names in the NFL, especially for a lineman. So,
solid.
Write that one down. But he's the rookie. There he is, out of Florida, Stone Forsythe. There's also Brandon Shell. But Brandon Shell, he should be our right tackle. I mean, he's probably our starting right tackle. He could slide over and play left, obviously, but that's not the plan. But he's there. And then there's just a bunch of other guys who I haven't really heard their names. So we got to get this done with Dwayne Brown and get this thing ready to go. Come on.
I think no questions asked. I have $100 bill if he needs anything. I got maybe $20 actually. I probably have $20. If he needs anything, I'll do it, man.
Little down payment.
They don't blink though. John Schneider, Pete Carroll, they usually don't blink when it comes to this kind of stuff. It's they put the offers out there. Lofa, we've seen this time and time again. It's also, I know we're not talking defense, but Jamal Adams continues to hold in, and all the reports out there are that they've made some pretty good offers to these guys who still don't like these offers, and then it's like, both sides are waiting for someone to blink, and John and Pete don't blink in these situations. And I don't want it to start costing games, especially in the regular season. That would be a nightmare.
They made an offer to Dwayne or just Jamal?
Jamal, I know the reports are out there that they've made good offers, but he's,
good offers for you. I mean,
according, buddy, You act like I'm the one writing the article or that I'm their agent.
You know, the way you report it,
Like,
sometimes I feel like you
me.
might have an alias and
First of all, I'm not a reporter. I'm a Seahawk fan with a podcast, okay? I'm not a reporter.
Allegedly.
Would Dwayne even be playing, though?
Patch around your neck over there. What do you even got hanging around your neck?
We'll get to that later.
Oh, okay. I'm not a reporter. I'm just a fan trying to ask a question. Leave me alone.
I don't even think Dwayne would be playing right now, though. He's got the special senior treatment going on. Doesn't practice.
Yeah.
You got to keep those knees healthy, baby. You're like, I don't think you'd be playing English.
No,
that's a good point.
That is very true. But I mean, after a couple of things that have been said, just like, well, making a statement, and like it is getting out there that it's not just the senior treatment. It's not just like, hey, that's our OG and we're going to take care of him. It's there's maybe some
frustrations building up maybe within Pete Carroll. I mean, you played for him
both
college.
sides.
You know him
from both sides.
Yeah.
From Dwayne, who wants, I know he's 36, but he's still playing at Pro Bowl level.
He deserves everything, man.
He's your leader, right now on the line and, probably on the offense. That's a guy that, when things are going south, he steps up and says something, everybody listens. So, just he wants a little more security than to finish out a 1-year contract.
Yeah. Well, but you can see why fans are getting nervous, obviously, right? Like we're fans,
I'm nervous.
Because these things,
oh yeah,
they go this way with Pete and John and this current Seahawks era, like Cam Chancellor,
even Russ just chimed in.
Earl's deals, like I'm just saying, you can feel why I'm nervous and why everybody's getting.
Even Russ said, "Yeah, we got to get that done." So I mean, it's
Russ
like
is nervous, man.
Russ is nervous.
Yeah.
How's he going to cook if he's on his back? Let's get this thing done. Let's go.
Yeah, a lot of Carson right down the A and B gap.
Yeah,
we're not going outside.
I have $20. I know Russell, has a little bit more than that. Just come on, throw him a little side cash. Like, let's go.
Dean,
let's get this done with.
$20 isn't going to do it, Dean. You got to
happily start.
You get a couple Dick's hamburgers with it. It'll be perfect. Like,
we start the fan GoFundMe and get this done.
Yeah, right.
I'm in.
We got to get it done.
How it works against the salary cap, though.
At what point do you both, though, hit the full-blown panic button? Like after the final preseason game, if these two contracts aren't settled by then?
Well, I guarantee you Jamal's going to get done. That's what they're working so hard for. And this is why Dwayne was on the back burner. It's like, okay, with everything they gave up for, Jamal, they're like, we have to get this done. And he is in the long-term plans. And not that Dwayne's not in the long-term plans, but the immediate future is pointing towards Jamal and getting his deal done.
All right. Well, we're going a little long on this episode, I know, but we there's a lot to cover as we try to go through the entire offense during the preseason. But the tight ends are up next. Will Dissly, Gerald Everett, Colby Parkinson, who's like 9 feet tall, Stephen Sullivan, who is still listed as a wide receiver, I think, but like probably will play some tight end. If you're looking for Jacob Hollister, he's now on the Buffalo Bills, so he's not out there anymore, our guy. But Dean, how are the tight ends looking? And Lofa, I want to ask you scheme-wise, because it seems like we're going to be doing a lot of 2 tight ends and all that. But Dean, first off, Shane Waldron's new offense, are they using a lot of tight ends out there?
Yes. I'm telling you right now, you heard it here first. It's Cody Parkinson's season. Okay, boys.
Wow.
I think he had 5 grabs yesterday. And the dude, if you're 6'12", you're not supposed to move like that. Like, that's freaking ridiculous. The dude is really going to help out, in the red zone. But, I mean, Gerald Everett, he's just another receiver. He's going to be a stud, too. If you're a fantasy guy, be looking out for him because he's going to get a lot of grabs. And, obviously, Uncle Will is just a stud who can do it all. Yeah. The tight ends are going to be a game changer. We still haven't solidified our third and fourth receiver. We don't know how D is if he's gonna be healthy right off the bat. So I think the tight ends are gonna have a huge role in this Waldron offense.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I agree completely. I'm hearing a lot about the tight ends everywhere and everything that I'm reading. Lofa?
Yeah, stoked about him. Dean hit it on the head. Waldron used the 2 tight end set with Higbee and Everett down there consistently. So, and you got a bigger, more athletic guy to put out there. So maybe the fullback won't be used as much as we just talked about. So
yeah, well, and I like Dean with the fantasy pick there for Gerald Everett because him and Waldron have that relationship coming from LA.
Yeah.
He knows how to use them, so I think that's a savvy move if you're looking for a pickup in your fantasy leagues out there, everybody. Wide receivers is the last position group here on offense to talk about, but it's a stacked position group for the Hawks, man. DK, Lockett, obviously Freddie Swain, Penny Hart, who I'm hearing a ton about in preseason. I was reading already. Dean can fill us in on Penny Hart running around out there in the mock game, but also Dwayne Eskridge, which is what I was going to say, the rookie, our draft pick, yet to see the field with a toe issue. But in general, I mean, we're feeling good about the wide receivers, right, guys?
There's a lot of depth, right? I mean, big play, Freddie Swain. Hart, like all these guys. I just don't know who's going to be 3. I don't know who's going to be 4. I'm so excited to see what D can do out there with his speed. I don't know. When you have DK and Tyler, it's hard to kind of look around at 3 and 4 and all the other guys around there. It's like those guys are such animals. But even last year, David Moore, he got some huge clutch passes thrown to him. And so I'm curious who's going to pick up that 3rd spot, whether it's Penny Hart or big play Freddie Swain, because they both can do it. I just really hope D comes back healthy. And it sounds like, is it a toe thing?
Yeah.
Sounds like
it's a lingering toe issue. Yeah, it's what it says, a lingering toe issue. Pete Carroll said trying to change shoes so that he can come back earlier. I mean, these things linger. I don't know what it is, Lofa, but I mean, we got to get him on the field, and then we can really do something at wide receiver. I don't know. I ran out of words. Lofa, talk about the receivers.
Yeah, no, I mean, you got through 1 and 2. We were really 2 1s. If you want to get serious, Tyler Lockett and Metcalf. And then after that, because if those guys go off like they did to begin last season, then they will be getting some double teams thrown their way, some bracket coverage, when that opportunity permits on the defense. And you're going to have to look for that 3rd guy. And who's it going to be? With Eskridge out, I mean, it's hard as a rookie to come in and learn the playbook and do all the right things if you don't get the reps. And so that's a little concerning. He's playing behind right now. And so it's going to be right now. Every time I look up, there's like a Penny Hart highlight reel or a catch or a big catch. And so what he's doing right now is earning, Russell's trust. And, so that's a big part of, the quarterback, wide receiver, chemistry is just like, if I go to you, because otherwise Russell's going to take a chance in double coverage with Metcalf and Lockett, knowing that, hey, there's still a great chance that this guy comes down with the ball first.
Yeah. In reality, I think wide receiver 3 is going to be Gerald Everett. Honestly, that dude, he looks like he almost looks like DK out there, but he's a little thicker. He's a big boy. The dude is fast for a tight end. I think he's going to be the true wide receiver 3. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, good take too. Let me tell everybody though some other names just when you're watching the preseason games, because there's a lot of wide receivers to look out there for as we're looking, like you guys are saying, for who's going to fill in slots 3 and 4 and 5 and on and on. Aaron Fuller from Washington, local guy, so shout out to him running around out there, number 17. Cade Johnson, who's a rookie out of South Dakota State that, he's undrafted, but like I hear a lot about him. 5'10", 184. I don't know why I'm hearing a lot about him, but I'm hearing a lot about him. So
who's the kid? Who's the kid that chose to sign here over a lot of other places?
Connor Weddington from Stanford, 6 feet tall, 200 pounds, wearing number 87. But he's a local guy, right, up from Washington State, even though he went to Stanford. So he wanted to be a Seahawk. He chose to come and be a Seahawk, like Lofa said. So look out for him running around out there. John Ursua, Travis Tovanen, I don't know, Cody Thompson, Roberson. I don't even know. He's a rookie from Wayne State, 5'9", 170. So a lot of wide receivers out there as you watch these preseason games. And Lofa, a lot of these guys, it's going to come down to what they do on special teams, right?
Yep.
That's the make or break. I mean, you think about 2 of the best receivers we ever had. They made it here on teams. I'm talking about Baldwin and Curse. Just they went out there. They were blocking kicks. making tackles. And that's, what you need from the 4th, 5th, 6th spot, however many you decide to keep. And so that's what will ultimately determine who makes this team.
Well, time to move on to our Zone In segment. We made it, guys. We made it through the offensive roster. Let's zone in on some stuff. We do this because Lofa's company is ZONEINCBD, the best CBD in the biz. If you're going to squat 1,200 pounds like Chris Carson, make sure you zone in beforehand. Right, Dean? Dean, I know you're zoned in.
Zoned in right before we do the bicep curls, but I mean, not really calf raises. Can they help me out with my calves, Lofa? That's what I'm trying to worry. That's why I live in Seattle, so I can wear jeans, 10 months out of the year.
Lofa, do you have a special calf formula at Zone?
No, I'm Samoan. I mean, really,
whatever. Nah, you don't need to do anything.
Yeah,
that calf formula is built in, isn't it?
Just gotta show up.
Yeah.
It's in the genes.
Legs and shoulders. I was blessed with that.
You guys can get 20% off of your first purchase or all your purchases, I think, not just your first purchase at zoneincbd.com, or you can also pick it up in person at any Bartell drugstores up there in the PNW. Lofa, let's go with your suggestion here. Let's zone in on rookies of the year and make some way too early predictions for this kind of thing. What are you thinking? Were you talking about just for the Seahawks, or were you talking about for the entire league?
I was talking for the league, man. That's why they have a whole draft.
I mean, I gotta
go. We only had 3 picks, man. I mean, it's not gonna be a hard one for us.
Well, I gotta go with Thor then. QB Thor with the long blonde hair from
Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, from Clemson. He'll be it, don't you think? No.
Is he even gonna play week 1? I saw him throw it past to Tim Tebow. That was cool.
No, the Jags will be like 0-8, and then they'll put him in, and he'll go 8-0 and win Rookie of the Year. I don't know. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Who do you got, Lofa?
Well, I think it could be actually, if you want to go Jags, I think it could be Etienne, the running back that played with him at Clemson. But so he's an intriguing prospect. But I'm gonna stick with Najee Harris.
Yeah, Etienne.
Etienne, yeah.
Yeah, Dean. We can't let that pronunciation slide, right? That wasn't.
Yeah, we can't. Come on, figure that out. Let's go.
Come on, man. We're zoning in on this segment.
Anyways, so really interrupted. So Najee Harris over in Pittsburgh, they draft him. Big Ben wants to run the ball. So is Tomlin. That's been the staple to open up the pass game. I'm going with him on offense, and then on defense, I can't wait to watch this kid play. I mean, I'm terrified of what he's going to do to us, but Zaven Collins, the middle linebacker for the Cardinals, I mean, that guy looks like something special, in his film from Tulsa. 6'4", 260, and, when there's a guy 6'4", 260, and he's moving around really effortlessly, like he's in and out of breaks, smooth, getting around line like a KJ Wright, made it look real smooth at 6'4.5", whatever he was, 250. That's what I saw, and so it's a rare combination of size and speed, and I think he's going to make a lot of plays behind J.J. Watt and Chandler Jones.
Dean, who you got?
I'm sticking with. I'm not doing the whole league. I'm just going with Seattle, and it's going to be not a very sexy pick. I texted. So we drafted this guy. I texted Lofa within seconds saying he's going to be our kick returner, and he gave me a meh. And guess who was returning kicks yesterday? Is Trey Brown. He's going to be. He is going to be a stud on special teams. And he's going to return 2 kicks this year. He's going to be my rookie guy. I'm stoked to watch him return kicks.
I think I gave him
one kick, or both punts, both kickoffs. What are we going with for the 2?
I think I just saw him doing kick returns. I mean, DJ Reed was kind of nasty, returning kicks too. But I'm telling you, I saw in Trey Brown's highlight reel, the dude can return kicks and is quick, and he's got the agility to do it, man.
Yeah, I gave it the super meh, and I was wrong. All right, I'm a big man. I admit when I'm wrong. I
texted him the moment I saw him run out there and return the kick. I was like, oh, here we go.
Yeah. I mean, as soon as he was drafted, I got a text. That's our returner. Yep. I was wrong.
All right. Lofa, who do you got for Seahawks Rookie of the Year?
Well, We only got 3 guys, right? I'm hope.
Take a pick.
Undrafted guys too. There's undrafted guys.
Hope it's not Forsyth. No, that against Stone. But we need Dwayne in there.
Yeah.
And speaking of Dwayne, let's go with Dwayne Eskridge. That's
okay.
We get him out there. I mean, I can't wait. His highlights were incredible. So
yeah,
I just want to see what he can add to this offense.
All right, I'll go with the undrafted guy, Connor Weddington. He wanted to be here. Let him put his money where his mouth is and go out there and prove it on the field, and I think he will. I think he'll have a good rookie campaign for the Hawks, and I think he might be our Seahawks Rookie of the Year. That's my pick.
I like that. But the UW boy Fuller was killing it yesterday. He looked good.
Yeah, that's true. But he's in
a lot of grabs.
He's in his second season, I think, officially, so he can't get rookie.
Okay.
Was he practice squad or was he? Never mind.
No. Well, he's listed as
I digress.
Year 1, whatever. Again, I'm not a reporter. Leave me alone. That's the end of the show, everybody. That's our wrap on this supersized edition of the Seahawks podcast. Thanks for listening on the Bleav Sports Network or on Brinks.tv, everybody. I'm being handed notes. So I can't read that right now. I'm doing the wrap out. That's it for us, everybody. We love you. Thanks for checking us out. If you have emails, seahawkspod@gmail.com, seahawkspod@gmail.com, or hit us up. I'm going too fast, guys. Hold on.
Too much coffee.
Or hit us up on any social media. Bleav in Seahawks, BLEAV in Seahawks. Dean, you're the man. Thanks for jumping on this episode, dude.
Appreciate you having me, guys.
Yeah, go Hawks. Give us a good go Hawks, Russell Wilson style.
Go Hawks, baby.
Lofa, let's break it down and wrap it out. Come on, lead us.
Wait, before we break it down, shout out to Special Olympics Washington. I did the community challenge, and they sent me, a gold medal. So I brought home the gold. But the community challenge to raise money for and keep the athletes motivated during COVID. And I want to thank everybody that donated. We raised a couple grand for them, and it means a lot to me. So thank you so much.
Hell yeah, man. All right, hands in the middle, everybody. Lofa, lots to break it down to from this episode. We got let's see, up-tempo type stuff. We got Steve Hutchison. We went over him. We got, training camps in full swing. What do you got for us?
I mean, Seahawks in the Hall of Fame. We had 2 going in, man.
That's true. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
2 of my brothers, man. 3. Troy Polamalu also went in. I know we don't want to talk about the Steelers, but we played together at USC. So, shout out to my brothers that went in. That's, a lifetime achievement. And playing next to them, watching them, earn it every day. It was inspiring and incredible, and they're even greater human beings off the field. So love those guys. My brothers in the Hall of Fame. On 3. 1, 2, 3. My brothers in the Hall of Fame.